forward with this milestone for their sake. Jo did share another tip for parents though. She said, "Tip: when you commit you must be all in, so invest in a little travel potty because you can't change up when traveling in the car, it will delay the process." Parenting website note that a child is considered to be late in potty training if they're 3 years old or more and still haven't mastered it after 3 months of effort. The pros from the site note that there are some common causes, including medical issues, resistance or refusal, and toilet phobia. And a second agreed, facts. All my kids were pooping in the potty at 6 months. They would hold the poop until I put them in the potty. The trick is to know their poop schedule and also look for signs that they need to poop. With her transformative advice for challenged parents and unruly children, continues to share her wisdom in the digital age. Although it may seem like a throwback to see the 54-year-old tackling Britain's most challenging tots and their tantrums, she remains active online, adapting her guidance to the changing times. With the advent of technology, today's children are often seen aspiring to be influencers, emulating the figures they admire on their screens. However, Jo Frost has recently expressed concern over the amount of screen time children are getting, especially as the new academic year approaches. She was particularly taken aback by the trend of young influencers having come across Get Ready With Me posts featuring children of primary school age preparing for their day. These Get Ready With Me GRWM posts, which have gained popularity on social media, usually involve individuals sharing their preparations for various events or daily activities in a video format. Now, even school children are participating, posting videos of their morning routines before heading to class. In her latest piece of advice, aimed at helping parents navigate this new landscape, Jo Frost urges them to regain control over their family's morning routine. She advocates for mornings to be a time for strengthening family bonds rather than succumbing to the concerning trend of online morning routine posts. A baffled parent has thrown the spotlight on what should be a precious time for families, questioning, "Parents, what on earth are you thinking? No, seriously? A time when family connection should be at its most high, a smooth operation of a well-practiced routine of breakfast together, life skills accomplished, a mindset of focus and attention, and the privilege to be educated." Taking aim at the digital distractions in modern parenting, she exclaimed, "It is bad enough seeing how many parents are dependent on iPads and screens in the morning as babysitters, turning into bad habits and chaotic mornings, but please, now this? Look, you've got to take responsibility." She further vented her exhaustion with society's habit of labeling sincere concern as shaming while urging parents to ensure their kids' well-being trumps the quest for online likes. The reaction on Instagram was mixed, while one camp didn't mind the idea of child block to call for the return of Supernanny. The authoritarian parenting style involves leaving your misbehaving child, quite literally, on the bottom step of the staircase to force them to reflect on their actions. It took other forms too, with Jo implementing the reflection room for the same purpose, with the likes of the Cook family responding well to the hardline approach. Timeout techniques, which involve removing a child from a situation to calm down and reflect on their behavior, have been around for decades, she tells metro.co.uk. What Supernanny did was bring a structured and televised approach to it, making it more accessible and understandable for a broad audience. The naughty step was, and is, the same concept as timeouts, quiet time or thinking chairs, and, according to Amanda, their purpose is simple. These methods aim to provide a break for the child to cool down and consider their actions, promoting self-regulation and reflection, she explains. While it seems good in theory and the naughty step is beneficial after naughty behavior, does it actually encourage good behavior? Amanda says the effectiveness of the naughty step or timeout technique depends largely on its implementation and consistency. When used sparingly and correctly, it can help children disconnect from the environment or activity that was associated with the unacceptable behavior and understand the consequences of their actions. But it can only be preventative for bad behavior if it's used in tandem with praise, positive reinforcement, and open communication. If the naughty step is used solely to punish a child, without any of the other elements, Amanda believes it won't yield any positive behavior changes. For worn-out parents at their end of their tether on the Channel 4 show, it wasn't always the easiest technique to get right, with some giving up out of exhaustion. For Supernanny Jo though, no matter how many times frustrated young children left the naughty step, they would be returned to it, until they learnt to stay put. But Amanda explains that children thrive on consistency and clear boundaries. Repetition helps reinforce the rules and expectations within the household, Amanda says. When parents are consistent in their approach, children are more likely to understand and follow the guidelines set for them. It's normal for children to test boundaries, but with patience and persistence, they will learn to respect them. If you're a parent who either uses the naughty step concept or is thinking of using it, heed this warning. If overused or implemented harshly, it can potentially have negative effects, such as feelings of isolation or resentment, Amanda says. As we said, it's all about balancing it with empathy and explaining clearly to the child why there have been consequences to their tantrum or attitude. Children need to feel loved and supported, even when they make mistakes, Amanda adds. Over the years, the show gave us some truly iconic tantrums, and a few of the most notorious came from Megan, who would hit her younger sisters, scream at her parents, and even lash out at Jo. Now, 25-year-old Gabriella and 23-year-old Erin have looked back on their time on the show, both abruptly telling Metro.co.uk no when asked if they'd ever do it again with their own children in the future. When asked about what she remembered from being on the show, Gabriella said it was quite prominent, it was such a big thing. They were here for 5 weeks, so we had camera crews coming every day. I don't know the entire time they were here because we had a camera in every room of the house, which to be honest probably wouldn't be allowed now, because we had one in our bedroom. They were filming us when we were in the bathroom as well. Ultimately, Supernanny's naughty step altered the parenting landscape indefinitely, by bringing it into mainstream conversation for mothers and fathers. This visibility has empowered many parents to adopt structured approaches to discipline, Amanda explains. While some may have moved towards more modern, positive parenting techniques that focus on collaboration and communication, the principles of clear boundaries and consistent consequences remain influential. But if the 7 years of both UK and US Supernanny episodes still have you at a loss on how to get your children under control, then Amanda has some advice. Start by establishing a few clear and simple rules. Be consistent with enforcing them, but choose your battles. In other words, don't overuse parenting techniques or they'll lose their effectiveness. Ensure consequences are age-appropriate and explain to the child, Amanda adds. Stay patient and avoid reacting emotionally to poor behavior, but most importantly use positive reinforcement to encourage good behavior. Diaper brands want your toddlers in nappies longer, so you spend more money but help